She's big, beautiful, and free. Bismarck's sister ship, the Tirpitz, has been in the game since 2019. She's a bit of a dinosaur, but she can be acquired for global XP, making her free at the same tier as Monarch, Flandre, and Massachusetts. So is she worth grinding for? Let's jump into some matches today and see. But first, let's set her up. I like building Tirpitz for her main guns. It's really not a secondary battleship. My go-to commander is Azerlane Scharnhorst, Porcupine, Master Mechanic running with scissors, and D. Ravel and Cunningham for a kind of hybrid build. A little bit of secondaries, a lot of survivability, and some focus on the main guns. It makes her a pretty decent medium range ship and also a brawler when it comes down to it. Let's see how she does in some matches. Alright, looks like we're going to be playing on Land of Fire in this first match, and the first thing that I notice are the destroyers. We didn't spawn with one. What gives? There are two of them in the middle at B. I guess I don't really understand that. It's probably because there's a div on the enemy team that has a destroyer in it, but still, yes, there is. I think all the destroyers should be evened out, but we shouldn't have to worry about pushing into one, I don't think. So let's start making our way towards A cap. And it's always about decision making in these German battleships. And the first decision is, how far should we push up here? Tirpitz is a ship where you're just always questioning if you can commit or not. Commit to a brawl, that is. It's a battleship that you can take 1v1s against almost any ship in the game, but you got to make sure they're 1v1s. You can't sail into crossfires, torpedoes, or a ton of other battleships. Let's take our first salvo here at the Prince Heinrich. The other thing about this map, when you're moving up over here on the A side, you have to be careful for the battleships or the ships that spawned in B. A lot of times they want to come over here to A and they can pinch you, but it looks like we're safe from that, so let's just push up. We're spotted. Yes, probably from the Prince Heinrich, but I think we were spotted even before that, so there just might be a destroyer here. Jambar, the Prince Heinrich, and maybe one of the DDs. So, yeah, that is unfortunate, so we'll just have to kind of be cautious as we sail up here. Good thing about Tirpitz is she's pretty quick for a big girl. Yes, a big girl. In real life, this thing weighed almost 52,000 tons. It was actually bigger than the Bismarck, or at least heavier. I think it was the biggest battleship built by a European country ever. But still, she's pretty quick, 30.5 knots, if I remember right behind the Zeton and the Gascogne. And we're going to have a fire spammer over here. Let's take a cheeky little shot real quick and see if we can get some damage. The other thing, the concealment, it's also pretty good. And these two stats are things that I think about in battleships when I'm first starting out a match and pushing up. Unlike the Anhalt, the ship is actually concealed. It helps a lot at the start of matches to get into good map positioning and to make sure you're not the first one that's focused. Okay, once again, decision making, we're not going to push around the corner. I still think there's a DD here. There is the Prince Heinrich, a JB, and then there would be a Shores fire spamming us. So we're going to kind of take the kiting approach for now, see how things develop, and there is a little smoke screen popping up there on the other side of the island. So I think that I was correct in assuming we would have been pushing right into one of the DDs. Now, I didn't pay attention to see what the destroyer is. We'll pay attention. We'll see if we can figure that out here. This ship is a brawler through and through. It's good speed. It's pretty tanky, and it has these torpedoes that we're going to throw over our shoulder here and see if we can get the JB to sail into them. The MO for Tirpitz hasn't changed at all since she came out in 2019. She loves to brawl, even if it's not the meta sometimes. To help her when not brawling, though, she has a blazing fast reload of the main guns. Yeah, I only have 8 of them, but they're reloading in 25 seconds. Sure, they're pretty small caliber, only 380 millimeters, but at least they're cycling fast, and it kind of helps bring the DPM up of Tirpitz. The accuracy, I wouldn't call them accurate. You have German dispersion, and that's always disappointing, but at least we have a good Sigma rating, 1.9. Not as good as Bismarck, actually, in this game, which is 1.95. Pretty interesting. Sometimes I forget about these stats, and I have to go back and kind of look them up. But the guns are decent. They hit targets pretty good, and we're getting some decent damage on this Prince Heinrich. And there is the Moss. He was coming up behind us. So we're going to turn out a little bit, let the secondaries kind of work on him, and just try to minimize the amount of damage I'm taking right now. Since I'm the only one fighting these 3 ships, really. We had a Francesco that spawned with us, and I think he is still reversing right now. It would be nice if he kind of moved out to the side to set up some crossfires. See if we can finish off the Heine here. Pretty close. Maybe the secondaries will finish him off, and we'll be doing pretty good. We did dodge the torpedoes, and that is great. The salvos, they do feel unreliable sometimes. I notice it against cruisers. It's the German AP. It's like some salvos, you just crush the world and you get a dev strike, and then other ones you have a bounce and an overpin all in the same salvo. It's probably partially due to the accuracy, but still, it can be disappointing sometimes. These gun firing angles, you're seeing them here in real time, they're not great. And right now I'm thinking we just have to get a turn off. We have to turn back in. We can't keep sailing out. John Barr has a ridiculous reload. It's really hard to turn in against a JB just because it reloads so fast. But at some point here, we're going to have to. We're going to have to turn back in. The gun firing angles, they're not as bad as the Vanguard, but they're still pretty bad. You have to show a lot of broadside in order to get all of your guns off. Now the secondaries, we saw them in action a little bit. We have 38 secondary hits, pretty decent. They have a hard time hitting DDs and smaller moving targets, but they're not as good as the ones found on Bismarck, mostly because they have a full 2 kilometers less range. So building into them isn't really going to be worth it, at least in my opinion. Now, Azerline Scharnhorst, like we showed earlier, she just happens to have Porcupine in the 2nd slot, so I usually take it because I don't like torpedo launch. It's not that great of a skill in my eyes. I usually save the torpedoes for point-blank range launches, and holy cow, the guns were pretty reliable there, although Ashores, I have to say, is one of the easiest targets to shoot at. It has this massive citadel that seems to catch any shell that you send its way. We're going to push back in here. Luckily, the Moss is spotted. We'll see if we can clean him off the board, too. And a reversing Jean Bar because, what else would you expect? These torpedoes. They're the typical German 6km torps that we know and love. Decent speed, they hit decently hard. They're really just for knife fighting. They're reliable. I have to say, on Tirpitz, they seem to last a lot longer than the Pommern, the Brandenburg, and other German battleships. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. Some German battleships you play and the torpedoes are always incapacitated. Tirpitz, I don't know. They seem pretty hardy to me. Maybe it's just me. Now, interestingly enough, a year ago, we did find out that you spawn into every game with a random amount of health points allotted to modules on your ship. Pretty interesting, huh? Once that damage threshold is met, the module will be destroyed. It still seems, though, like Tirpitz torpedoes have a higher damage resistance or damage resistance percentage or something like that. I don't know. It might just be me. Let's look at the match here again. Jean Bar is just reversing, and we could go around the corner and try to chase him down and kill him, but it would likely take too much time left in the match. We really need to get on the cap here because, oh my gosh, looking at my team, yeah, we have 2 DDs that aren't even close to any caps, and the Francesco is way behind even me. So we just got to get in here and stop them from accruing points. There's no CVs in this match, which is wonderful because just like in real life, the AA suite of Tirpitz is embarrassing. Carriers can really make your life miserable. It's the reason I run a catapult fighter. Generally, I think I took the secondary module on this one, but sometimes I keep the cat fighter on it just to have, one, the little extra bit of spotting, but also to have some deterrence against CVs. I did call the ship tanky earlier, and we've done a pretty good job in our fighting, keeping our health. The armor looks pretty strong. Strong deck armor, good bow armor, and a turtleback scheme that's going to protect you at close ranges from getting citadel. But the biggest problem that this ship has is taking that massive superstructure damage just like the other German battleships. Now, I don't think it feels as bad as the GK or the Pommern, but if an enemy battleship wants to chunk you while you're angled, all they have to do is shoot the superstructure. Oh, and the torp reduction isn't that good. I think it's 22%. Luckily, we dodged all the Moss torpedoes. They're pretty slow torpedoes, easy to dodge, so that's good. And we don't have the sonar like Odin has, like Anhalt has, Bismarck, and the other German battleships. So you have to be pretty careful in the Tirpitz. One thing that does make her a little extra tanky, though, and we're putting good use to it, we only have one of them left, that's the heels. The heels are super, super good on this ship. Aside from anything blaring Rule Britannica, these are among the best heels at Tier 7 as far as battleships are concerned. I usually always take Master Mechanic with German battleships, and that gives us an extra 2 heals, so 5 in total. And if you add them all up at 12,000 and something apiece, you should get over 60,000 health worth of healing. And that makes that Tirpitz you almost killed early match, yeah, they can come back around and be a pain in your side a little bit later on. So the heals are definitely a high point of this ship. So we're in a predicament here. JB is just going to keep reversing out because that is what Jambar players do. But we're still going to try to move over here and see if we can't work on the points. Now, our DD here south of B, what is that, a Benson? He has been AFK for minutes. And now he's coming back, I suppose. So hopefully he can help me gun this Kagero down. Let's see this German accuracy against Cog here. And we got 1 pen. 1 pin. The HE Alpha is not good, but at least we got 1 hit. So we're going to keep pushing in here, kill the Odin, maybe we can trap the Kagero, and I'm having a hard time turning in towards B because this Jambar keeps shooting me, and I don't want to give him any more damage. I just loathe that ship sometimes. To me, it is not a skilled ship to play. It doesn't take skill to reverse to the edge of the map to keep shooting. So that annoys me, and I will let any of these other ships on the team over here, the enemy team, kill me before I would let the Jambar player kill me. Anyways, though, the points. We're losing a lot of points, so yeah, we need to get in here and try to turn that around. Luckily, we have a pretty big health pool. Tirpitz has 69,300, 6th place overall for all of the Tier 7 battleships in the game now, of which there are 30. There's a lot of battleships up here, and still she is 6th place overall. So that, plus the heals, plus the armor scheme, this is a pretty resilient battleship if you play her right. And, you know, me, typically, I'm out here moving around, you know, trying to get the guns into and out of the fight, the torpedoes, the secondaries, things like that. Always trying to stay moving in this ship. It's not really one that you can park or reverse in or sit statically. You kind of have to keep moving because of those firing angles to get all of the guns into and out of the fight and to protect yourself from getting chunked. So, our battleship is in B, and the Jambar found the forward button, so he's now sailing into A, and I figured this would happen, but there's really just nothing that I could do about it. Luckily, the Odin's going to die, but I don't think the Kagero is, so this is not looking well at the moment. We'll see kind of how it wraps up here. What is the verdict on Tirpitz? Should you buy her? Currently, there are a lot of global XP Tier 7 battleships you could get your hands on. The Roma, the Massachusetts, the Alabama, the Gascogne, Champagne, Flandre, Monarch, Key, and the Odin. It's a lot of tough choices because there's some good ships in that list now. I think the top of it for me is probably, again, I say this a lot, is going to be the Massachusetts. I think it's the best well-rounded battleship. But beyond that, the Flandre for a good secondary speedy brawling French battleship, and the Monarch for an HE spamming ship that, well, really just does everything good. The Monarch is very good. Those would be my top 3. Monarch, Flandre, and the Massachusetts. After that, though, in the next tier, I would probably put the Tirpitz. Maybe the Tirpitz and the Roma. I have a hard time still recommending the Gascogne and the Champagne. To me, they're just not super meta ships. Now, they both have been buffed, so they're a little bit better now. Champagne, I think, has a reload booster. So you could consider those. And then the Key and the Odin, they're at the bottom of my list. I would probably skip those. So this match, we're not going to win it. We're clearly not going to win it. We're not going to be able to kill the JB. Their destroyer got away. Their BB over on, what is it, Seaside is still alive. So whatever. We lost it. You know, Tirpitz is a good ship, but it just can't do everything. If you have a DD that's AFK for 4 minutes and then comes back, you're probably not going to win that game. But I don't want to dog on my teammates. It was a good match. We did decent, and I usually have fun when I play this boat. So yeah, that's my opinion on Tirpitz. If you liked it, hit the like button. Be sure to sub for future videos. This is Dirkus signing off. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.